If you grew up in the 2000s, you probably had a hyperfixation. This was a time when franchises were becoming more and more mainstream, from video games, TV series, comic books, you name it. Not to discredit those that came before, but during my childhood, they were everywhere. The main reason was these properties had the ability to create merchandise and multimedia for people to buy and consume. You could thank Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! For boosting the economy. The first Pokemon games, Red and Green, were released in 1996 on the Game Boy, with Blue and Yellow 2 years later. It's an adventure game that has you become a trainer, capturing monsters and battling using said monsters in turn-based combat. You either gotta catch them all or be the very best like no one ever was. It was a major success, selling over 10 million copies worldwide before the new millennial. So successful, in fact, it expanded to a card game, an anime series, box office movies, multiple merch-related stuff. It was even named Pokemania due to how crazy popular it was during this time. You could go out onto the streets and see something Pokemon related. Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a similar success. It was first a manga series released that same year by the late great Kazuki Takahashi. The story follows a boy named Yugi Moto who loves playing all sorts of games. He solves an Egyptian artifact, the Millennium Puzzle, which awakened a mysterious spirit to take over his body and challenges bad guys to a series of shadow games. It was a pretty dark story as it shares themes of friendship, life and death, and using a hidden part of themselves to overcome hardships. Ultimately, the series led to a card game that has the characters summoning monsters and using traps and spells to deplete the opponent's life points to 0. This became the staple of the series going forward. It became a real game that real people can play. Minus the actual deaths. Oh, sorry, banishes. We can't let the helicopter moms know. It got popular thanks to the anime adaptation in 2000, using the card game as an advertisement for people to go out and buy them. Its success led to video games, movies, and multiple sub-series like GX, 5D, Zexal, Arc 5, Brains, Sevens, and more. No matter how much it has been milked, it's one of the best manga series of all time. Before this, properties had 1 or 2 other medias, but Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Had like 5 or more with the cards, games, shows, movies, and merch. They are still going strong today, with Pokemon having games that are a glitchy, buggy mess before the Switch 2, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Having metas that I cannot understand. Regardless of your opinion on them now, their success as multimedia franchises transcended pop culture, and so, other properties try to capitalize on their successful branding. Digimon, Beyblade, Dinosaur King, Chaotic. Remember Chaotic? I remember Chaotic. For me, none of them compared to the one franchise I was hyperfixated with, a franchise that has a similar vein like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! A franchise that took the monster battle genre in a way that lets you summon the monsters in real life.
The power's in your hand. 2 worlds collide on the inside. You gotta fight for what's right before it's gone, gone, gone. This is Bakugan.
Man, I still love the theme song. Bakugan is a strategic game that has you use 3 spherical figurines, 3 gate cards, and 3 ability cards. You and another brawler must be on the same gate card to start battling. Whichever one has the most G power at the end wins the gate card. The game ends when one person wins 3 gate cards. To start a battle, you must first roll onto the gate card, which has a built-in metal plate for the magnetic figurine to land on. Observe. Ta-da!
I loved it. It was unlike anything I've seen. Like, yeah, ripping a Beyblade is cool, but have you ever played with balls? Why the did I say it like that? Having metal-based cards to summon figurines was a unique concept. If I had a choice between $1 and a Bakugan, I would choose Bakugan in a heartbeat. Because that's exactly what I did in elementary school. I had a cool bus driver. In order to promote these figurines, they had an anime series called Bakugan Battle Brawlers. The synopsis is these strange cards fall from the sky and a bunch of kids made a game out of it. What they didn't know is that these cards awakened the monsters from within. They are from Vestroia, which is the home dimension of the Bakugan. A rogue Bakugan named Naga wanted to capture the Silent and Infinity cores to create the Perfect Core and take control over Vestroia. However, he got trapped in the Silent Core, which caused Vestroia to destabilize, and that's why the Bakugan made their way to the real world. There are 4 seasons of this?
It's not the greatest story ever, but it was entertaining enough to make me buy the toys. I will say, the main cast is the show's highlight for me. We got Ash and Yuki's adopted son, Hatsune Miku looking ass, the nerd emoji, basically Amy Rose, Sasuke Uchiha if he had a living family, and my first cartoon crush, possibly. Together, they're the Bakugan Battle Brawlers. hence the name of the show. I tried watching every episode, I bought as many figurines as I could. It was my whole identity. I only had like 2 friends to play it with, so that tells you how socially awkward I was. And you know I jumped for joy when I heard there was a video game tie-in. This is the first ever Bakugan game, titled Bakugan Battle Brawlers. Did they not come up with a subtext?
Bakugan the video game was released on October 20th, 2009 in North America, with Europe on the 23rd and Japan on the 28th for the Wii, DS, PS2, PS3, and Xbox 360. It was published by Activision with Now Productions as the developer. Now Pro have made games for well-known companies like Bandai Namco, Capcom, and Sega, and were behind some of my favorites, including Mario Superstar Baseball, Mario Super Sluggers, and Sonic Riders. Think that's crazy? The toy line was made by Spin Master and Sega. Apparently, Sega had a toy department back then. Think that's crazy? The anime was made by TMS Entertainment, who had a hand with some popular anime series, including Dr. Stone, Rent-A-Girlfriend, and Sonic X. The craziest thing about all of this?
This blue rat won't leave me the f*** alone! I would play this game for hours as a kid. It was like an addiction, which is still carried on to this very day. I should mention, I am playing the Wii version. It's not the best quality, but it's the one I grew up with. So let's open this field and start battling, brawlers. Holy shit, there's an original opening.
It just shows the main cast and their Bakugans, nothing too special. I'm impressed they made one for this game. After selecting your save file, we get the most basic-ass DVD menu with the hardest music. Doesn't make any sense. It has 5 options: story, single-player campaign, battle arena, multiplayer, tutorial and options, speaks for themselves, and my room, which I'll talk about later. First, gotta select the attribute to represent, customize the player, and there we go.
Perfect.
Our story begins with Hal G obtaining the Silent Orb and will rule all Bakugan. Don't ask me who this is, he's irrelevant here. We then see the Doom Dimension, the shadow realm of this world. Brightly colored orbs float out of the debris and transform into a dragon who flies up into the sky. On Earth, OC gets bullied by a couple of players about how they play. What's funny is OC likes Bakugan, but doesn't know the rules. If you're a fan of the game, shouldn't you, know how to play? That don't matter, cause Dan is here! This is where we get the tutorial on how the game is played. Both players set down a gate card and roll a Bakugan during their turn. You do that by selecting one with the cursor, hit A and B, and swing up or down for a bounce shot, or left or right for a power shot. Your 3 starters will have the attribute you selected. You can place another gate card if you want, but your turn ends when you roll a Bakugan. When you and your opponent land on the same card, you enter a battle where you activate ability cards and play a minigame to gain more G power. Each color of the played gate card will be the minigame you'll play. Copper is shaking, silver is pressing buttons at the right time, and gold is shooting. They get more difficult the more you progress. If you have a higher G power after the game, you win the gate card. Other ways you win one are by having 2 of your Bakugan on the same card, or you can choose for the second one to move to another card that's connected. Another is hitting a power shot against an enemy strong enough that they get knocked out, which is called a critical KO. The last one is if all 3 of your Bakugan are on a card, you can select one to stay. After your opponent's turn, if nothing happens to it, it's a successful stay and you win the card. The first person to earn 3 gate cards wins. Just like the actual game. And you bet your ass I demolished him! Dan congratulates him and says he might be a battle brawler with enough practice. OC wants to have a Bakugan partner, like Dragonoid is with Dan. They go their separate ways, and we get to the store, where we meet up with Alice, another member of the Battle Brawlers. Although she doesn't brawl like the rest of them, she's more of the team's analyst. The store is where you buy new Bakugan and cards for your deck. You can also upgrade your Bakugan's stats and G-Power. Each one has 5 stats. Speed is how fast it'll go when you throw. Defense is how much it'll tank a power shot. Acceleration is how fast it goes while you're in control. Endurance is how long you can control your Bakugan. Jump is how high it can jump. You increase any stat by a maximum of 10 times if you pay with Bakugan points, or BP for short. You can reset if it's not to your liking, but your points won't be reimbursed, so I don't think it's worth it. It then unlocks the park, where you fight brawlers you already fought to get more BP. The first time you visit, you'll get a cutscene where a Bakugan rolls towards OC. His name is Leonidas, and OC offers a partnership with the newly arrived Bakugan to beat other brawlers. He agrees, and the 2 are now working together. If only making friends were that easy. I want to talk about one more thing I held off before we move on, which is My Room. It's where you can customize your decks, which you can do in the other modes, collection, showing off your financial stupidity, personal, an anime character has multiple outfits, tips, getting info and guides from the battle brawlers, finally, saving your progress, which I can save in real life. To progress, you must win a tournament. That means you must play a certain number of matches to win. If you fail, you can redo redo the match you lost in. Just retry as many times as possible until you beat it. There are a total of 6 tourneys, with the second one being a tag team with Dan, and the third being a battle royale against 3 other players. The rest are just a bunch of 1v1s, so I hope you like those. Each one takes place in a different arena of the attribute type it's based on. Not only that, but it also has items all over the place for you to collect, like points, cards to gain the advantage in the arena, batteries to fill your control bar, and hidden sections to pick up such items. I recommend having a couple of Bakugan to gain the advantage, meaning you can gain more G-power when you play the minigames. Dan congratulates OC with his first tournament win. He claims that it was all Leonidas. Dan introduced himself, but Leonidas doesn't respond. He just got here, so maybe he's still trying to get accustomed to being on Earth. Marucho claims that Leonidas might have ulterior motives because he arrived later than the other Bakugan and his attitude during combat. Bruno agrees, saying that her Bakugan, Tigrera, felt something weird from him. She suggests that OC finds a new partner. He rebuttals, saying Tigrera is just jealous and that Leo is his friend. Dude, you've only known him for like a day. You already consider him a friend and have a nickname to call him?
I mean, you could say the same thing about his friendship with Dan. It's almost like if your OC was best friends with the main star of the franchise. Wait a second.
After the tag team tourney and playing a battle royale at the park, OC gets the news that Drago, Dan's Bakugan, was defeated by another player. It doesn't say who did it, except that they played dirty. OC then runs into Julie, who accuses him of beating Drago. OC responds that he and Leo would never do anything like that. I think she's jumping the gun because she has a crush on Dan. At least do some research in hearing their story instead of accusing them right off the bat, Twitter! After winning the battle royale tourney, we get our answer. Is that f***ing infinite? This is Marduk, the self-proclaimed greatest brawler in the world. He asks OC to brawl with his Bakugan, Vladitor. He has incredible power and wants to rule all Bakugan. Oh look, Dan is here! Everyone finds out that Marduk and Vladitor were the ones who beat him and Drago. They brush him off as they have their sights on Leonidas. After the battle, Vladitor drops a bombshell that Leonidas is from the Doom Dimension. Both of their powers are similar and he wants him to join his cause. They leave with the proposal on the table. Leo explains what Vladitor said was true. He was born from the lost souls in the Doom Dimension and wanted to cause destruction on all Bakugan until he met OC. Thanks to his partner, he has learned the value of friendship and trust. They've known each other for a few days, by the way. The next tourney introduces Shun, as he is also wary about Leonidas. We've already established he's not bad. Can you guys get off their backs?
And then there's this banana hair looking asshole. Masquerade is the main antagonist of the show, but his role here is second fiddle to Marduk, so him being here holds no value to the game's story. Just like a certain group of villains from another game.
Dan is here and is the final brawler to beat before the climax. He added that if OC does, he'll become an official battle brawler. He did beat the others, so this is a good final test to be initiated. Of course, we do so with ease, and the Chicken Lords show up to say that they'll be at the Ultimate Battle Tournament, where all the top brawlers will compete. In the background, they're plotting for Vladitor to beat the battle brawlers and will be rewarded with the Silent Orb that will give him the power to rule Vestroia. Back on Earth, the brawlers discuss about Marduk and who he really is. Apparently, he was a decent player who played dirty to win. Being ridiculed for his playstyle, his tag partner betrayed him and his Bakugan were sent to the Doom Dimension. Vladitor used his power to try and take over Vestroia, but was sealed from the Silent and Infinity Cores. When Naga tried to steal them, Vladitor was freed and linked up with Marduk for revenge. OC thinks there's more to it. He believes that Marduk loves Bakugan regardless of how he plays. I mean, why else would he enter a sanctioned tournament if he wanted payback? Everyone, including Drago, can trust Leonidas for his willingness to fight alongside them. The plan is in motion. Beat Marduk and Vladitor and stop their evil plans. Everyone's Bakugan evolved for this occasion. We don't get to see it, but that doesn't matter. This is the final stand. The power is in our hands.
He wears a mask and no one knows his true identity. He has sent a lot of different enemies to defeat Dan and Drago. Who could he be? Yeah, who could he be indeed? Wait, does this make me buy?
Once the Edgelords are defeated, Hal G calls off the deal, but Vladitor steals the orb to evolve into Battle Axe Vladitor. He then transforms the Howl's Arena to the Darkus Arena. This makes the other Bakugan lose their power because it's surrounded by Doom energy. The only hope left is OC and his partner. Leonidas is not affected by the energy because he is from the Doom Dimension. The others use their remaining strength to combine their powers to evolve Leonidas into Omega Leonidas. Power friendship, bitch! Gotta say, the final final battle was pretty challenging. While the other battles were piss easy, this was neck and neck. Gladiator was just as powerful as Leonidas, so it was about using the ability cards wisely and trying to get as many points as possible from the arena. But I showed him what for with my Omega Blaster! Ah! The story ends with both Bakugan disappearing back to the Doom Dimension, never to be seen again. It's so cliche, but I think it's deserved since both brawlers loved the game and didn't want their partner to go out this way. Marduk had evil intentions, sure, but he still loves the game through and through. I think this shows that even if people have different ideals, they are passionate in what they like. Both characters may not be so different in that regard. Although OC is taking the loss better than Marduk.
Worthless. Don't show your pathetic face around me ever again.
With that, everyone goes back to Earth to enjoy their peace. Just then, a ray of light falls onto OC. Wouldn't you know it, Leonidas is back. Turns out he returned thanks to Gladiator giving him his remaining powers to him. OC and Leonidas are reunited and will never break apart. The next game will have them back, for sure.
Bakugan Brawl! It's gone! This is Bakugan!
So is Bakugan the video game basically Sonic Forces? That's pretty much the entire game. It doesn't have that much in terms of extra content, just battles and battles until you get bored. The story is nothing special, it's just a typical episode of the show that is technically not canon. I could be totally wrong. However, this is Bakugan's first video game in the market, so it wasn't going to be a holy grail on the first run. It's a fun game, one where it lets you insert yourself into the actual world. Having the Wii remote to mimic throwing a Bakugan while playing against characters from the actual series was amazing back then, and still is now. It even made a comeback with a revival series, and there's rumors of a live-action movie in the works.
I don't think the new series is for me, but it was nice to look back on a game from a series that I was deeply passionate about. Maybe I'll talk about the other games in the future. Oh yeah, I had to get a haircut because... Never mistake super glue as hair gel.